Some cracking EFL action over the weekend and over the first 4 weeks of the season, but not as cracking as the action you're about to see right here on EFL TV. All thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal. Four rounds down and plenty more to go in the Eastern Football League. And we're all over it here on EFL TV. And one man who's all over it as always, just loving the looks of all four divisions at the moment, is the big man, Peter Baird himself. Frosty, some unbelievable games over the weekend. Let's get stuck into the EFL agenda with Division 1. And Scoresby and East Ringwood played out a great game on the weekend with the Pies getting their first victory for the season. What kind of confidence do you reckon that'll give Scoresby for the rest of the season?
It's the shot in the arm that the Scoresby side really needed. They were so successful over the last few years. They haven't been able to replicate that at the start of the year. To get that really hard-fought win by less than a goal over East Ringwood, that's just a huge incentive boost leading into a game against a traditional rival this week in Roval out at the Scoresby Recreation Reserve. Huge game that's going to be.
Certainly is. Just on Scoresby, plenty of young players, and we all know that a fair few of them are experienced players left for other clubs at the end of last year, but playing plenty of young players. Guys like David Del Papa and Nick Papadopoulos getting games at the moment. Lockie Bain kicked 5 on the weekend and was named best on ground and gets a leader Young Gun nomination for this week as well. So he's in great form. Let's talk about East Ringwood though. Hugh, how big is this game coming up for them against South Croydon? So big that we're having it on the as a radio game. But the magnitude, how much does it mean to this club this weekend?
This becomes a hugely important game for the Roos. They haven't won a game yet in the first 4 rounds. They're vital to kick off their season with a win if they're going to have any hope at all of playing finals. And I know, talking to Bernie Deneen before the start of the year, that's the expectation he's set for the playing group. They want to be there at the business end of the year. They need to start registering some W's in that last column on the ladder, some points in the win column, because if they don't, they're going to be playing catch-up football for the rest of the year, and it's going to make their task hugely or near on impossible, I think. So this becomes an absolutely vital game, a must-win game, a red-letter day for the East Ringwood Football Club as they come up against South Croydon at home. They're going to have a big crowd out there, and it just becomes a hugely important day for them. They must win at all if they're going to have any chance at all of playing finals this year.
The Roos and the Dogs playing for the Glen Mason Shield, all thanks to the Bendigo Bank on the weekend. Great local rivalry that one is. Let's have a look at Noble Park and Vermont, Frosty. An unbelievable game of footy that was on the weekend. It was a pleasure to call, a pleasure to be out there. Vermont getting the chocolates in the end by 8 points. Footy was the winner almost in the end. What about Noble Park? What did you take out of it for them? Not panic stations, obviously, but plenty of stuff to improve on.
Oh, certainly. And I think Mick Fogarty said the way they used the ball probably cost them at times throughout the afternoon. They were probably a big man really short to match the top 2 or 3 teams this year. I think they're definitely in that top 4. They're a class side. They weren't blown away by Vermont. Vermont played some really good footy. Noble Park looked at its damaging best at times throughout the game. It was a real advertisement for how good Division 1 football is in the EFL. I forget how many times the lead changed throughout the afternoon. It would have been in double figures though. Just great play. Some real showcase football. Noble Park came hard once Vermont gained the lead off them in the final term, but the Eagles were too good and were able to hold on by that narrow margin.
Let's have a look at Division 2, Peter, and all the rage at the moment in Division 2, and quite rightly so, is Montrose. They are taking all before them so far. It's only round 4, but already it feels like it's a bit of Lilydale 2011 about the D's at the moment. Can anyone stop them? Can anyone, I think, get close to them this year?
If you'd asked me that question at the start of the year, Ben, I would have said Mooroolbark are the team that perhaps could knock over Montrose this year. I think now, only 4 rounds into the season, it's a big call, but I reckon it's a race in 3. I'm going to rule a line through 7 other clubs in Division 2 this year. I think only 3 teams can win the flag. One of those has come up from Division 2. I've been really impressed with North Ringwood. Lock in that encounter when North Ringwood play Montrose later in the year. I reckon that's going to be a fantastic clash. And I reckon the other team, I'm going to learn a lot about them this weekend. I reckon Croydon have got those bigger bodies that might be able to challenge Montrose on their day. We'll know at 5 p.m. on Saturday night whether they're the real deal. Perhaps they're a team that can still challenge Montrose.
Well, let's talk about North Ringwood briefly. May 25 is that day, so only a couple of weeks' time, Montrose taking on North Ringwood. What about the Saints? They've got a lot of young players who were very successful during that golden stage of under-19s premierships. Jack Whelan won the League B&F last year, having an outstanding year. James Dean, Thomas Hill's coming to the side. He's a young player, kicking plenty of goals. Some good signs there for the Saints.
Oh, there is. And you're throwing guys like Anthony Sharp as well. They've recruited Tom Hill down there this year. He's kicked 5 in each of their games so far. He's been fantastic. They've got a core group of players that have played a lot of football together now, 50 or 60 games together. They're only young. They know the way they each other plays. They trust in each other. They're very well coached by Brett Moyle. When you've had a little bit of success as a football team, stepping up a high division, you can take that with you. And teams have to be a little bit wary of North Ringwood. They have got a winning culture around that football club over the last few years. They've taken that into Division 2. Who knows? They might be able to team that challenges Montrose. We'll have to wait and see.
Want to win $2,000 cash and a year's worth of free car washes? Then get involved in the local footy Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV competition. Ferntree, Gully, Holden is going the extra mile to show their support for the EFL in 2013. Head to the Ferntree, Gully, Holden Facebook page and tell them why you love local footy for your chance to win $2,000 cold hard cash. Only one team remains undefeated in Division 3 in 2013 so far, Pete, and it is Mitcham. And they come up against the Basin this weekend, a big day for both clubs. And I was thinking about it beforehand. Mitcham have become the hunted for the first time, I think, in a long time since their glory days in Division 1. Kind of unfamiliar territory for a lot of these players at Mitcham.
Oh, it is. I mean, they've improved so much, and it's been a gradual improvement over 3 or 4 years under Scott Homewood. He's got this team recruited. He's built up a style of football that's going to see them successful. The acquisition of Steve Pym and Johnny Pignataro this year has been super important for them. You've got the Petrarca brothers going through the midfield. You've got a really core group of players that have been around the club for a little while, guys like Whitnish and Quilty. They've got a lot of belief about themselves now. They've been a powerhouse of our competition. Don't forget, they were one of the premier clubs in Division 1 for a long, long time. They've had a bit of a fall from grace. They're back in Division 3 now. They played finals last year. They're starting to set expectations very high now, and Scott Homewood has got this team believing they can win a flag. Well, to do that, they need to knock off the up-and-coming teams that want to challenge them, and they're a team like the Basin, so it's going to be a riveting contest this weekend.
And speaking of this weekend, ahead of the game, a big game, Braden Ingram headed out to Batterham Reserve and caught up with some of his mates out there. Braden.
Thanks, Ben. Down here at the Basin with Trevor Mills. Trevor's been a good start of the season, 3 wins, 1 loss. How have you noticed any difference between, or have you noticed any difference between Division 4 and Division 3 football?
This year, obviously we've gone up a level. I think we've obviously gone up in the club over the last few years because obviously taken us a bit higher, which is pretty obvious. So, but with the standard of footy from 4th to 3rd, it's obviously a lot faster. Skills are always higher, and there's a lot more expected of you as well. So, it's a very, very positive thing for the club, and everyone's taken it pretty well.
And then you came out last week, big game against Baroni, you're away from home. You know, this ground's sort of like a bit of a postage stamp, a really big ground out at Tormore. You had a 1-point win. How tough was that match? And was there any stage where you thought, you had it won?
We always knew this was a hard game, and I think there's always been a future with Baronia. I haven't versed them personally because we haven't been in 3rd for a while. So, but yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game, and we took it upon ourselves. And in the game, I don't think we always knew it was going to be a tough game, and we never thought we were going to have it won. So we just had to keep grinding at the stone, and we eventually got away with it. So win with a loss. It'll help us later on in the season with those 4 points. And
Andy Coltrera just seems to be getting better with age. He's already kicked 19 goals for the season. How good is it to run out of the midfield and know you've got someone like him that's just going to find a way to kick a goal?
I'll tell you what, last week I was hoping he'd perform well, and he did, as always. He's one of those players that he might not get a kick for the first few quarters, and then he just turns it on and kicks 6 straight. So I'll tell you what, having him in the side is someone that you look up to as well, and you learn a few tricks off him as well. He's a wizard, and I'm pretty happy he's in our side. So.
And you've got Mitcham this week, another really big game. How confident are you of the win?
Mitcham, yeah, I think we're pretty confident. We never doubt ourselves. We're a confident side, and confident side go further in the division. So we've had a look at them tonight as well. Obviously, you do the preview and the review. So I'm pretty confident with our side on our oval and our home turf to take care of them this week.
And just finally on yourself, you won the Club BNF last year. It was a sensational season, and now I know you've spent a lot of time in the off season during the gym, and you're certainly a lot bigger. How much of a difference have you noticed on the field compared to last year, and just being able to, is there a big difference being able to break tackles and move about the field?
Well, I'm slowly growing up and I thought, last year was pretty tough because I was pretty small and get knocked around a fair bit. So I was thinking I'd better do something about that and obviously go to gym. And it's definitely helped out. My confidence has risen higher, and I feel like every game, just getting that one step higher, 1% more. It's all going to help later on in the season. I'm pretty happy with my game at the moment. I just want to work on a few more things.
Well, Trev, it's been a very nice start of the season for the boys, and good luck against Mitcham next week.
No worries.
And the Kings of Division 4, Frosty, well, particularly going into this year, were South Belgrave. They were touted as the Kings of Division 4, and they've started off like Kings. They're in very, very good form. And they gave Surrey Park a bit of a Division 4 reality check on the weekend. A big, big victory over the Panthers in the end. Panthers weren't disgraced by any means, no doubt about that. But the Saints just proving the Panthers have got a fair way to go, but also proving that they are the team to beat.
Oh, they staked a claim as, look, perhaps Surrey Park had improved so much they might be able to challenge some of the top teams. They put that to rest on the weekend. They said, if you want to come and challenge for the title, you have to beat us. But South Belgrave, that juggernaut just keeps rolling from strength to strength.
Speaking of juggernauts, the Kilsyth juggernaut is very, very quickly gathering momentum, led by Jay Sherlock, Jordan Chenhall up forward. There's plenty of positivity around Kilsyth at the moment. And Braden Ingram headed out to Pink's Reserve on Tuesday night to have a bit of a look at Kilsyth training.
Thanks, Ben. Down here with Kilsyth coach Simon Caldwell. Simon, you currently sit 3 from 3 after the bye. In what ways has the side impressed you to start the season?
I think, mate, I was speaking to the EFL media team on Sunday and probably spoke a lot about it then, but the main thing I think this year, mate, has been our structure stuff. We've really worked a lot on that over pre-season. I think the year before we had a lot of young kids which we were trying to do some structures. Probably took a year to play together. So I would definitely say that, mate. Our structure side of it, everyone's getting it, sticking to it, which any coach would say. If you can get your structures right, you're halfway there to win the games, mate. So.
And in your 3 third quarters this year, you've kicked 19 goals. Has there been a certain plan to come out after half the time and blow sides away, or it's just sort of happened that way?
Yeah, I think it's just sort of happened, mate. It's been nothing particular that we've sort of set out before the start of the season. That's going to be our drive to go into half time and really knuckle down the third quarter. It's just, I suppose, one of those things that happen that way. Whether it's maybe being able to reassess at half time to get those structures right and being able to speak about it and go over them again. Maybe that's helped.
And confidence is pretty crucial in footy, and probably something that's been lacking away from Kilsyth for at least a little while. The 3 wins going into such a big game against South Belgrave, how's the feeling amongst the players and around the club?
Yeah, really good, mate. I think, look, I said 3 wins. I think in my time, it's my 5th year at the club, and we don't think we've had 3 wins in a row to start the year. I think the committee were telling me 2006 was the last time they had 3 wins to start the season, and they didn't finish it. I think they had 5 to start off with, and they didn't end up making finals, so that didn't fill me with much confidence. But look, it is a confidence thing. Last year, mate, we had a young list. We played like that. First round, I think we lost to Forest Hill last year by 6 points, and it's a bit of a downer. You get over that line, you get over that game winning, and you don't know what happens second round, third round. So, yeah, definitely to get away with 3 wins, mate, it's been fantastic, and it does give us confidence to go into South Belgrave this week.
And I'm sure you talk about him a lot, but Jay Sherlock, been a big recruit for you. Kicked 7 goals last week against Park Orchards. For you to win this week, you're probably going to need him to have a pretty good game once again. What does the side need to do to ensure that he has the ability to kick multiple goals?
I think, look, a lot of teams obviously know Jay or know of him. He hasn't played 4th division before this year, but they know of him, and teams are trying to double team a little bit, which I think it does work into our favour a little bit, because we do have another 2 or 3 other options. On the weekend, which Shells kicked 7, but we had probably Herpich and Ockwell, 2 of our other goal scorers, are our other side, so obviously we had to rely on a bit last week. But this week, Ockwell will be back. Had a bloke playing the 2s first 3 weeks, Troy Dunn, who's been, I think his last 2 games against South Belgrave 3 years ago, but he kicked 8 both times against them. So, he can be, hopefully, if he does all the right things and keeps training, he might be a good inclusion for us this week. So, get him back in the side, and these other guys, we shouldn't have to rely on Jay to do it all the time. But at the end of the day, mate, if he kicks 7 each week, we take it as well, yeah.
Well, Simon, good luck for the game against South Belgrave next week, and thanks for joining us here on EFL TV.
All right,
Righto, Frosty, time for the EFL TV Play of the Week / EFL TV Play of the Year. We're on a search to find the best play, whether it's a mark or a goal, in the EFL in season 2013. Last week, we had 4 great nominations, but the people voted with their mouses on the weekend. They voted with clicks. Here was last week's winner. Congratulations to Bo Cosson from the Noble Park Football Club. A very nice fly against East Ringwood there. But 4 great nominations this week, Frosty. I know you had a bit of a peek beforehand. These are absolutely magnificent plays. Arguably the best we've had so far this year. A, B, C, and D. Check these out. Four great plays in EFL TV this week. Bo Cosson looking to go back-to-back this week. He was, of course, play B, a wonderful one-handed dukish mark, which we saw live on the weekend, Peter. Is that your favourite mark?
No, I really like the mark from Lukey Barker. I thought that was an absolute... It's a typical hanger, isn't it? Fantastic. That's the one that gets the crowd up on their feet. But I really like this week's play for the play of the week was the Hoffman goal from Croydon. Took the ball on half-back, dodged around a couple of players, dished off, kept running, showed that work rate that they talk about in the AFL to get the ball back again on half forward, then that big left foot kick from outside 50. That's play of the week for mine.
Our search for the best haircut in the Eastern Football League continues to gather momentum. A couple of nominations coming in each week. We won't blow all our bullets early. We'll keep a couple up our sleeves, but one we wanted to make mention of this week is a rising star at the Surrey Park Football Club.
It is Adam Mulling. Have a look at this. The wild red hair, the long red beard as well. Yes. Absolutely fantastic. The wild man of Borneo look there from Adam Mulling from the Surrey Park Footy Club. And
he goes all right too, Frosty, because he won the Under-19s Division 4 League Best and Fairest in 2012. Well, there you have it, Frosty. Another edition of EFL TV done and dusted. Looking forward to a big weekend. Of course, don't forget the radio game, East Ringwood and South Croydon from 1 till 6 p.m. on 98.1 FM and EFL.org.au. Been a pleasure having you here at EFL House today, Frosty. I'm sure you're looking forward to a big weekend of EFL footy.
I look forward to every weekend of EFL footy. It's the best local football competition in the land.
Thanks very much, Peter Baird. We'll catch you next week on EFL TV. All thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal.